Hungry? Are you hungry? Sit. Okay, can I have a paw? Okay. Okay, stay. Wow. Stay. Okay, well, he's clearly starving. Beanie. Actually, I wait for him to finish most of his food because she doesn't get as much. Obviously, she's smaller. And if she finishes her food first, then she tries to eat his food while he's still eating, and they get into a fight. And last time it was not pretty. Okay, come, Peanut. Sit, stay. Give me a paw. Can I have a paw? Can I have a paw? Shit, man. Once you put it down, that's it. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to my channel. We have been on a journey here. I feel like I have always been on like a self-improvement, self-development journey, of course. And obviously there's something about New Year's that make you feel like you really want to hone in on your goals. You really want to just set yourself up for success and create systems, organization plans, just like routines that really nourish who you are and nourish your path to achieving your manifestations and your goals. So I wanted to bring you guys this reset video because not only am I resetting, not only am I starting to just have more clarity on the things that I know I need to work on myself, but I also want to show you guys or bring you guys along the process on how you can reset for yourself. How you can reset 2025, how you can create better habits, how you can really start nourishing your body and just set yourself up for manifesting your desires in 2025. There are a few things that I believe are the key to manifesting your desires or whatever you want to call it, achieving your goals. And really, it really comes down to two fundamental things. One, your systems in place. So your systems being your routines, your habits, your organization systems and plan. So that's one component. And the second thing is your mindset. Your mindset, your energetics, your belief systems. Honestly, out of the two, your belief systems, your mindset, your energy is probably 80% of your success rate. And the systems are like the 20% that kind of like you still need to be taking action in order to obviously get to where you need to go. So the thing is with manifestation, when you really get into manifestation at first and you start learning about the law of attraction, a lot of us can get really caught up in the idea of the law of attraction being that like attracts like, and as long as you are really in belief of what you desire, you are truly in the energy and the frequency of what you desire, then you will just receive it without needing to actually do anything, right? Just sitting at home and hoping, praying, wishing, believing. That's not gonna cut it. You do need to take aligned action. Aligned action is a very important process in creating your dream life, manifesting your desires, achieving your goals. And so those are the two things that are required. And so we are going to be tackling in this video the 20%. The reason being is the 20% is, like I said, still very important. And I do want to create a separate video on how you can actually manifest your dreams and desires in 2025 based on the 80% being your mindset, your belief systems, your energy. So in this video, I just want to start with the foundations. Let's start from scratch. Like if you told me right now, hey, like I really want to get organized, I want to get clear on what I want in 2025, I want to set myself up and just start the process, this is the video for you. So I'm going to share with you guys essentially the steps that I take. It's very simple. I'm gonna guide you through just a few steps. I think I have written like maybe like 5 max to really just start with the basics and allow ourselves to reset in 2025. So let's get into it. Okay, so step 1, of course, is getting clear on your desires. This sounds simple. However, this can be tricky if you are not very in tune with your true authentic self, right? If we haven't really been doing the work and maybe we're still at a point where we are a little bit clouded by societal expectations, we're a little bit clouded by, the people in our lives, and we still might be creating manifestations and casting desire lists based off of expectations and our ego, right? This is tricky. I really believe that in order to have true clarity, you do need to be in tune with your authentic self. I'm gonna link down below a exercise that I shared on my Instagram that helps you get more in tune with your authentic self. It's a really cool exercise. It actually uses ChatGPT, so it'll definitely make your life easier. And through this exercise, you're actually going to uncover 4 of your like main themes of who you are, your 4 I like to call core essence or your values. When you are clear on your values, it's much easier to start creating your desires, and it starts to come from a place, you know, from within. It comes from your soul's expression, and therefore that is truly what is more meant for you. It is based off of your higher self versus your ego self, which there's a big difference between. So I just wanted to preface this because it's really important to do kind of that work first. Like I said, I'm gonna link the Instagram exercise down in the description box below. And once you do that exercise, which honestly it's a really fun exercise, and yeah, I just love stuff like this. You're gonna have so much fun throughout this whole process, and I just like making things more fun. You can make this into a ritual. You can really, like, if you want, if you're not in the right place right now, maybe you're listening to this on, you know, like maybe you're not in the right mindset right now, maybe you can pause the video and come back, you know, create a nice ambiance, light some candles, really romanticize this process. Like, this is big. We are currently we're like taking our power back in this, right? We are just the creator of our reality, and this video is the first step to becoming that higher version of yourself, which honestly, like, I get kind of goosebumps when I think about that. Like, the fact that we can really create, like, we are so fortunate. If you're watching this video, you are so fortunate to be able to create life in your own terms, and that is my goal. That is what I want you to see in yourself. I want you to see the potential that you have. And so yeah, just romanticize this process a little bit. Like I said, go home, make an ambiance, and come back to this video, and let's do this process together. So we're still on step number 1. What do you desire in 2025? Okay, you want it to be, of course you can have like goals in the next 5 years, 10 years, but when it comes to the things that you desire in 2025, you want it to be realistic and achievable in the next 6 to 12 months. Okay, another way that you can reframe this question is, you know, if you don't really have, or you're not really clear on specific things that you want, you can also focus on how do you want to feel in 2025, right? Especially if you just did the exercise I shared about you regarding authentic self, you'll be able to go off of your values and just amplify that and make sure that you are constantly living based off of your authentic self. And so your goals or your big manifestations can be simply feelings. So maybe that's freedom, maybe that's alignment, maybe that's, you know, maybe you want to feel safe. So it could really be any feeling. Still part of step number 1, you then want to categorize them. I usually have 4 categories. I have home, personal, work, and finances. This is a great way to keep it simple without overwhelming yourself. For example, maybe personal is to feel confident in my body, right? So it's just more of a feeling rather than, you know, I want to lose 10 pounds, right? It's more of like, I just want to feel confident in my body. It could be done through many various ways. Then maybe in finances, it's I want to save $10,000, right? So when you have categories, it kind of just helps to simplify it and organize it better. So that was step number 1. Step number 2, you're actually gonna now break your bigger goals into smaller micro goals. So it's kind of like small action steps. But when you call them goals, it kind of makes it more fun and kind of makes it more of a challenge. And it feels good when you attain those micro goals because it does make you feel like you are actually now in your progression towards your bigger goals. So maybe, for example, one of your bigger goals, like we just mentioned, was to save $10,000. Then maybe you can have a micro goal of, I want to create a budget. Maybe I'm going to start tracking my expenses on a week-to-week basis. Maybe you want to find a side hustle, right? So get creative, whatever feels good to you, create more smaller actionable steps, aka micro goals, that are part of the bigger manifestation. So they're kind of like stepping stones to the bigger picture. So that is step number 2. And step number 3, which is essentially what we were just talking about, is creating your organizational system. I like to have weekly, monthly, and daily systems. Very simply, without getting into the jargon, essentially I have weekly resets. So things that I like to do on a weekly basis that I know are just helping me stay organized, helping me stay fresh, helping me stay on track. Same thing with monthly, things that I do on a monthly basis that get me closer to my bigger goals. And daily, of course. Daily is more, think of your Notion dashboards, your agendas, your weekly planners, like, or your Google Calendar, like things that you will use on a day-to-day basis, rather, to plan your day, to organize yourself, to make sure that you are following your habits, following your routines, whatever it is that you set yourself up for, or whatever goals you have, things that you will do on a day-to-day basis. So it's more of like a to-do list. It's more of like, yeah, an agenda, whatever you want to look at it as, however it resonates with you. Essentially, you want to create a organization system, weekly, monthly, and daily. So actually, I can share with you guys my personal Notion dashboard. And honestly, it's not that complicated. I know I've seen some, like, I love it because I've been getting so much inspiration lately from other lifestyle creators and vloggers, and bless their soul, but some of their freaking Notion dashboards are, to me, they seem so complicated. And honestly, that can feel so overwhelming for people when they're just getting started. And so I just want you to take mine that I'm going to share with you with a grain of salt. I believe mine is much more straightforward, much more simple. But again, at the end of the day, it's, you have to make it work for you, right? The reason why I might not be resonating with another person's Notion dashboard is because they are a completely different person. They have completely different goals. They have different brains. They have different ways of thinking. And you are a unique soul. Don't expect to be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing. Don't expect to get the same results as another person, right? Everybody is unique. Everybody's different, which is what's so beautiful. And just make it work for you. So just wanted to give you guys just like a heads up on that before I do share and walk you through my Notion dashboard. Yeah, but I will share with you guys how you can create something very similar yourself. You don't have to download any fancy templates. You don't have to, create all these complicated programs. You don't have to start becoming a coder or anything like that, because I know Notion can get really complicated, which is awesome. Honestly, you can do so much with Notion, which is why I love it, but you can really use it in very simple ways. You can make it work for you. And yeah, so let's get into my Notion dashboard. Well, here is my really cute Notion dashboard. I'm just going to walk you guys through it rather quickly. I don't want to overcomplicate anything. You guys will see it's very, very simple. And at the end, I'm going to share with you guys how you can essentially create something similar for yourself. So really, when it comes to creating a Notion dashboard, you want to think about what would be your ideal agenda, for example, right? So for me, I like to have a to-do list, obviously. So I have my to-do lists here on the right. Oops. And on the left-hand side, I thought I would take it even a step further and have more weekly goals. So here are my weekly goals. So this would be the first place I would start when I'm planning my week. Of course, I would start off by thinking about, okay, like, what do I need to work on this week? And then I will lay out my goals here. Then I would go ahead that same day and create daily goals for myself, kind of like micro steps, things that I have to do, kind of like tasks, but not really. It's more like a general aspect of what I need to get done, what is a goal I need to attain that day. And the to-do list, the today to-do list, is more like micro than that. It's even more like simple. It could be even it could be even unrelated to the weekly goals. It could be as simple as, like, go to my yoga class, right? Like, it might not actually be associated with your weekly goal. So that's pretty much it. I know it's very simple. So you have your weekly goals, you have your daily goal that you create from the weekly goal, and then you have your to-do list that you create from the daily goal. It's kind of like you're going more and more granular. And that's just the way my brain works. I like to think of it as big, smaller, and even smaller. I like to break things down that way. So if that is your cup of tea, then you can go ahead and create something very similar to this. Now, I will walk you guys through the rest of this dashboard. Then I have this like journal library. Basically, the way this works is that I kind of put links. These are all links to other pages in Notion. For example, I have a link that takes me to my 60-day challenge that I'm going to be sharing with you guys later. So I get to see this just to go back to it. If I feel called to, I can check mark things off. If I go back, brings me back to my dashboard. I have a link to, like, Love Life is kind of like my business brand. So I have a whole Notion section just for things for my business. You can also add, whatever really resonates with you. I also have a this section where I have just kind of like my journal. Like, yes, I have a physical journal where I write and reflect and do gratitude, but I like to also sometimes keep track of certain triggers, of certain limiting beliefs and patterns in my like Notion template for that. It's just a great way to track your progress. I also have a nice little tab where I can remind myself of the things that I manifested last year. Whenever I do manifest anything new, you can have a separate line for, like micro or like mini manifestations, like small things that just happened that maybe you weren't even looking for, but just nice things that you've appreciated. Like you can really make this your own. So I like to have this as a page that I will reference. I have one for my 2025 goals. I have a list page, so things to buy, things I have to record. Sometimes just it's kind of like a notes page for me. Like I'll just write like my travel plans that we're thinking of doing in the next couple of months. It's kind of just like a notes pad. Then I have like an ideas list, so like anything that comes to mind for YouTube, anything that comes to mind for TikTok or Instagram just goes here. So this is kind of like my little library. Like you can think of these links as different books. That's kind of how I'm like imagining it. So that's the basics that I have. As we were talking about earlier, we were talking about creating an agenda for yourself. This could be through Notion, it could be through Google Calendars, it could be through pen to paper, whatever it looks like for you. We also spoke about weekly and monthly resets. So I actually have a separate little section for that with a link that takes me to my weekly resets. So these are my own personal things that I like to get done on a weekly basis that I set up for myself. So they're very simple, honestly. They can be very simple. They could be like, for example, for finances, I don't have much going on. I just have update expense sheet for the week. And this is something that I will check into maybe a couple times a week just to make sure that I'm getting these things done. Sometimes it ends up being like on a Sunday and I'm doing the reset that day and I'm getting all of that done. It doesn't have to be perfect, of course. It's just a great reminder of the things that will keep you organized so that you are set up for success. I have the same layout for monthly, except the monthly reset is a little bit different. Then I have like here, then you can really customize it as you like. I have a little image here. You can customize this. You can put your picture, you can put your pet's picture, you can write whatever you want. The way I did this is all through Canva. All of these are images, and I created these banners through Canva. I will list all of the measurements, all of the ratios for creating these for yourself in Canva in the description box below. And naturally, I had two like empty spaces here. So I decided to use Canva again here on the right, to kind of write a quote for the month that really kind of resonates with what I'm doing or the theme of the month or whatever. So I think this was for December. I still haven't changed it. I have my work deeply transforms lives. And yeah, you can do this the way you want. You can grab a quote from Pinterest. You can just put an image that, reminds you of your goal. That's kind of what I have here on the left-hand side. It's like a nice little visual for you to be reminded of your bigger manifestations. But of course, these are just a cute little touch to customize your Notion dashboard. Scrolling down, I have a calendar. You can embed your Google Calendar, which is super cool. This is very optional as well. Very similar here. This is a banner that I created on Canva. Like I said, I will share with you guys all of the ratios for creating these in the description below. And then this is the last thing here. If you desire, you can have a habit tracker. Simply the way I did it was I just Googled Notion habit tracker. There are a ton out there that are free. If you've never used Notion before, I would just start with creating something as simple as this, just having daily, weekly, and a to-do list. So I would just start with having daily goals, weekly goals here, to-do list, and creating this library for yourself with external links. It's very, very simple. Having a reset section, adding the images, very, very simple. Once you start getting the hang of Notion, then you will start to learn how to embed different apps, different calendars and whatnot. And so you can start to play around with this. And like I said, you can go ahead and start searching for habit trackers or other kind of like tables and different kinds of programs to help you stay on track. For me, I found this habit tracker online for free. That is it, guys. I really hope I did not overcomplicate anything. I hope it's very straightforward, and I hope this gave you some inspiration to create your own Notion dashboard. If you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments below. But like I said, I'm going to share with you guys the dimensions, the ratios for creating your own little banners here, depending on what kind of categories or depending on what kind of layout you want to create. But I just like this layout a lot. I think it's very simple. I think it's very easy to use. I do want to mention the way I set it up so that it's almost like 3 columns. You can do that with Notion when you click the plus, and when you scroll all the way down, there is one of these will show as like divided or like columns. Just select the 3 column width and then you will have it. You do have to play around with it, but it is a learning experience. I do recommend trying it out and giving it just a good shot, because once you get it, it's really, really nice. It's really, really fun. You can download the Notion app onto your computer, and then you can have it as a separate, for me, I have it as a separate tab here. So I just always have it within reach. I can very easily just get onto it and use it moment to moment when I need it. And for me, it's just a nice, like personalized, digital and cute agenda that I use on a day-to-day basis. Okay, awesome. Now, step number 4. We already talked about this, but we need to address the 80% of our success, which is our belief systems, our mindset, our energy. And so I'm putting this as step number 4 as doing the inner work, aligning yourself with your desires. And like I said, I am going to be creating a separate video. Hopefully the next video will be that. And again, that is 80% of your, if it's 80%, if not more, of your success rate towards achieving your goals and manifestations. It's so important. Your belief systems shape your reality. The way I can just briefly break this down right now is your outcomes in life are the result of the actions that you take on a day-to-day basis. Your actions are influenced by your emotions and your thoughts, and your thoughts and your emotions on a day-to-day basis are influenced by your belief systems. You would only have a fear or a negative emotion or a negative experience in your life, for example, only if you had a specific belief about that situation, right? Because there's a reason why 2 people going through the exact same situation, the exact same problem, will have completely different ways of processing it, different ways of reacting, different ways of experiencing that situation. And it all has to do with what you believe to be true. Everything in your external reality is simply a reflection of what you believe to be true. When I learned that, it completely changed my life. It completely changed the way I experience my reality, obviously. It changed the way, like the things that I focus on when it comes to my business, when it comes to my life. Like, yeah, it's crazy. And so this is a very important step, and I did want to mention in this video, even though we are talking more about the systems and the action, 80% of your success rate is based off of what you believe to be true, which is why step number 4 is all about starting to do the inner work. What that looks like is essentially starting to become aware of your belief systems. What do you believe about your finances? What are some things that maybe you learned about expenses, about budgeting, about making money from childhood? You really want to start unpacking your belief systems. Yeah, so essentially you just want to start to unpack your belief systems when it comes to yourself, when it comes to your relationships or love, right? Like really getting into that. Like if you can get into some sort of journaling practice on a day-to-day basis, starting to really reflect on triggers, things that upset you throughout the day, and really starting to ask yourself this question: what must I believe to be true in order to be experiencing this in my reality? If you ask yourself this question more often, you will start to uncover not only your conscious beliefs like we just talked about, but also some subconscious beliefs that are usually trickier to find. And we're gonna get into all that in the next video that I'm gonna be sharing with you guys. But it's really important to start doing the inner work. It's really important to start integrating some sort of journaling practice, some sort of reflecting practice. Lately, I've really been into voice journaling. So I just pick up my phone and use a journal app and I just record. I find that to be sometimes more effective than having to write in my journal. Visualization is also a really great tool because that allows you to start create new neural pathways that you taking action towards those goals. If you visualize yourself doing the thing, if you visualize yourself attaining the thing, your brain doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. So you're starting to almost create like a real memory, and it becomes less difficult, or you'll essentially have more confidence in attaining the goal. Conviction is a very important essence, or it's a very important energetic to hold in your body, like your belief in yourself, your certainty, your certainty, your trust, your confidence, your worth, and attaining that goal or that manifestation is so important. It's like the key, right? That's what I mean by your belief system. So there's a lot of things at play here, but what I'm trying to get to in step number 4 is that it's just so important to start integrating some sort of self-improvement, self-development work, to start working on the 80% that is actually shaping your outcomes in your life. Step number 5 is actually optional. I did want to include it because I'm going to be talking about my personal challenge that I'm doing for myself. So step number 5 is the last step. It's also an optional step. Step number 5 is about creating a challenge for yourself to kick off your journey, to kick off your reset, to kick off your year. I know it can sound really cheesy. I know it can sound very like new year, new me, but it is something that honestly works for me. I'm somebody who has a hard time like with self-discipline. I'm somebody who has a hard time with all or nothing. And I would rather know that I'm doing something for a set amount of days rather than indefinitely. Or if I don't give myself that structure, I kind of start to feel a little bit like confused, or I start to like trail off. Rather, when I give myself, a 30-day challenge or a 60-day challenge, I'm gonna do my best to do what I need to do on those every single day. So it's kind of like a hack for your brain. And obviously that motivation that you have allows you to be more repetitive, and the more repetitive you are, the easier it is to create those more long-term habits. So it's just a great way to kick off your reset. And I just wanted to mention it because that's something that I'm personally doing, and I actually want to share with you guys my 60-day challenge that I'm going to be doing for myself. I'm going to share with you guys all the things that I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So yeah, I really do encourage you to create your own challenge if you feel called to do so. So let me get into my personal challenge real quick. Okay, so this is my 60-day challenge, and the reason why I'm gonna walk you through each of them and why I'm implementing it into this challenge, but a little bit of backstory. So I actually struggled with my health a lot throughout my life, and it all started when I was 12 years old. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism, and then later on in my life, in my early 20s, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, which is the autoimmune illness of the thyroid gland. So I've always dealt with hormonal imbalances, and I actually used to be a holistic nutritionist. That's kind of how I started off in this field. And I did a lot of work on my health in order to, I wouldn't say completely put my autoimmunity in remission. Like I definitely still have good days and I have bad days, but I've gotten it to a point where it does not control my life, and I feel so grateful for that. Like I have really come a long way. And anyways, coming to Bali, I believed that, so far so good. My health has been good, my periods have been regular, which I've always struggled with. And like crazy enough, when I moved away at the end of August and moved in with my partner and we came here to Bali, my menstrual cycle, shall I say, my menstrual cycle has been very, very regular. Yeah, I thought coming to Bali that like all my problems would be solved, especially coming to a country where the food is more clean compared to North America, of course, less processed. However, I am realizing that my body is still feeling very inflamed, and I am more sensitive to inflammation because of my history. And so I do need to be extra careful with inflammatory foods such as gluten, dairy, soy. There's a list of inflammatory foods that you can avoid to help with that. And I've definitely worked on a lot of root causes. Like I said, I've come a long way. However, I am still more sensitive to certain foods. So I just wanted to preface by saying that the reason why one of my points in my challenge is to be gluten-free and dairy-free, it's because I know for my body that when I limit them, when I eliminate them from my diet, my inflammation, the puffiness on my body gets reduced drastically. And so I think that it's something that I want to reincorporate into my life. I did kind of fall off of a lot of my healthy habits, I would say. I generally live a very healthy lifestyle, but like I said, I am more sensitive, and so I do have to be more diligent in what I'm eating. I have to be more diligent in my nervous system exercises. And I think that I have just been kind of eating all these foods. I moved to Bali and there's such amazing restaurants all over and amazing food. And so I've just been indulging in all the foods that I know are not the best for me. And so now I'm just okay, I have 2.5 months left living in Bali. Let's take advantage of the fact that there's an abundance of healthy food at my fingertips, and it is very accessible, it's very affordable. And so it was a perfect thing to include in my challenge. And it's been a week now, and I feel so much better. I feel like the inflammation just has completely shifted in such a short period of time, and that's just to show how much it makes a difference for me. So okay, let's get into the challenge, my 60-day challenge. So 1, wake up at 7 a.m. I originally put 6:30 a.m., but I don't know why I put 6:30 a.m. because I have plenty of time in the day, and 7 a.m. is just a great time for me. So I just changed it to 7 a.m. It's still early. It still allows me to regulate my circadian rhythm. It still allows me to have a morning routine, and so that's what matters to me. 2 is look cute, because I believe that if you look cute, you feel cute. And so I just want to take more of an effort to put myself together, to just fix my hair. I think it's been living in Bali, it's been really frizzy. I've been having a hard time managing it. But whatever it is, right? If I put a nice clip in my hair, it just makes me feel better. It makes me look good, it makes me feel good. Just simple things like that. A little bit of mascara. I really don't put on too much makeup. But some perfume sometimes. It's part of also romanticizing my life. And that is actually one of my core essences. Which of course, the theme of this channel, and honestly the theme of my life, is romanticizing my life, or Hugga. Actually, that I learned this word, I think it's Hugga. It's a Danish word for creating a cozy life, ensuring that your life kind of oozes coziness, and you integrate that and infuse that in every kind of moment. And it really resonated with me. And part of all of these things that I included in the challenge is also part of me really intentionally romanticizing my life with the things that I know that make me feel good, make me look good, and whatnot, and really nourish me. So we have 7 a.m. wake up, look cute, morning routine, of course. So whatever that looks like, maybe my morning routine will just involve sitting and reading a book. Maybe my morning routine will involve a breath work. I'm just letting that be. I'm letting that stay open. One thing that I do want to include is bone broth. So actually, I'm going to share with you guys, and after we're done speaking about this reset, I'm going to share with you guys some of the footage I took of me preparing myself, all the prep work for my reset. And I created my own bone broth here. It's actually funny because I never did back in Canada, and now in Bali I made my own bone broth, which is so random. But so I'm gonna be integrating bone broth into my diet. Bone broth is super healing for not only your skin and your nails and your tissues, but also for your gut and your gut lining. And if you deal with any autoimmune issues or any hormonal issues or any issue at all, actually, Gut health is super, super important. It's linked to everything, your mental health, your skin health, literally everything. So bone broth is an amazing healing soup or broth. Yeah, it's filled with minerals, it's filled with collagen, amino acids, and just a ton of nutrient. Who's here? Peanut constantly gardening this. I mean, it is Peanut's mansion after all. It is her mansion. So I guess she took it upon herself to really be her own security. And now Ray wants to get out because he just follows her and he just loves to... Okay, sorry about that. Anyways, bone broth, great. 2, okay, next, subconscious somatic rewiring. This is like really important for me because, again, part of me working on the root causes of certain belief systems, of my health, of literally everything, like I said earlier, is your subconscious mind, your belief systems. So I want to integrate some sort of practice, some sort of tool that's going to allow me to rewire my subconscious mind, heal my nervous system, do whatever I need to do to get to the root cause of some of the issues that I deal with. Not that there are issues, but just to constantly be working it in my favor, right? So even like with this inflammation, right? Sometimes it literally has to do with mind. Like one of the root causes of autoimmunity, for example, is emotional traumas or things like that that really are integrated in that subconscious. And so that's why that's something that I just want to be more mindful of during these 60 days. So anyways, just a tool to help me release limiting beliefs, to help reduce stress, to align my nervous system with the things that I desire. So it just has so many benefits for me. Next is movement, of course. So I want to incorporate some sort of low intensity, high intensity, depending on where I am in my menstrual cycle, some sort of movement practice to move my body. Obviously, movement is so important for everything. So I don't need to say much, I believe, about that. Cozy hobby. It's so important for me to ensure that I have time and I create that time for a cozy hobby. That's what really brings me a lot of joy and comfort. And so whether that's reading, whether that's coloring, whether that's maybe just watching YouTube, listening to a podcast, listening to audiobooks, playing on my Switch. I have an endless list of cozy hobbies and they just bring me so much joy. So of course it's part of the challenge because I have to also make sure that I'm having fun. And I already talked about gluten-free, dairy-free. This is very important for me. Just are very inflammatory foods that I know for me really aggravate my system. Night routine, also very similar to having a morning routine. I would like to have an intentional time to wind down in bed, you know, maybe read a book, put some castor oil. Castor oil helps also with inflammation, also helps the liver detox depending on where you put the castor oil, just helps remove toxins out of your body. And I put hypnosis because I actually have like these sleepy hypnoses that I listen to while I'm falling asleep, and it's just like easy work. You're just listening to something that's rewiring your brain as you're falling asleep. So I just put those in my night routine. And then the last 2, promote love life. That's my signature offer 3 times a week on my Instagram. So I just want to be diligent with like marketing, like making sure that I'm speaking about what I have to offer and just like sharing with others and not like being a hermit and be like, okay, like usually this is something that I'm working on, but like, yeah, just feeling like, okay, like I really believe in the value of my work and I believe that it transforms lives, but there's still that concept that I'm working on and like putting myself out there and marketing that can sometimes feel scary. And so I'm including that in my challenge. And then lastly, this is kind of more of a reminder than anything else. It's just the 80-20 rule. It just reminds me that progress is important, not perfection. That is the goal for the challenge. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I'm gonna just end this video with show you guys some footage of me going out to different health food stores here in Bali, prepping, buying some ingredients, making the bone broth, and just like, yeah, just getting into the groove, getting into the challenge. And I'm really excited to maybe make more videos like this, especially videos of me just vlogging my day, how I'm staying consistent, how I'm organizing myself, how I am keeping up with this 60-day challenge. And I would love if this video inspired you or motivated you to create your own reset for 2025, or to create your own challenge, or whatever it is. Maybe you want to create your own little reset, right? This is just an outline. I would love if you shared with me in the comments below how you are resetting in 2025, or if you are creating your own challenge, or whatever it is. I would love to hear from you. And again, I'm so grateful for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video.